Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the Crave Show with Chris and JRuss. And we got a guest this week, Mr. One and Only Jason Peters. How you guys doing?
Great.
Very
What's up?
good. Doing
Looking good over there.
yeah. How's it going, Jason?
Great. Great. Nice to be on the show.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, cool. So I'll say right up front that my internet is struggling at the moment. I don't have any political problems with Elon Musk, and I only now have a problem with him because my internet's not working quite right. But if I get cut out, you guys will have to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. We were just talking about
Cool.
that.
So Jay, tell everybody about yourself, and keep in mind a lot of our listeners are newer jumpers. So give us what's your story? Who are you?
Jason Peters, born and raised Corpus Christi, Texas. Started jumping June 19th of 91. First time with the rig on my back was in 1980 when I was 8 years old. I went up for an observer ride with my dad and stepmom doing static line jumps. Put a rig on my back, set me right next to the door in the 182. Said, if you fall out of the plane, pull this handle for your life. It's like, all right. So that was, like I say, 1980. Joined the Navy. Ship came back from the Gulf. Had some buddies on my ship. Were like, you want to go make a skydive? So yeah, let's go. First weekend I went, made 6 jumps. Went back the very next weekend, made 6 more. Was off student status. Was fortunate to get a credit card for the first time and decided to just max it out jumping. And, it's usually the way it happens. Went back again, made 5 more jumps. I had 17 jumps. Got out of the Navy, was back in Texas, didn't jump for several years. Moved up to Oregon, most beautiful place I ever lived in the summer. It's not so great in the winter. Lived up there for a couple years. Started jumping up there. I showed up at the drop zone at Eugene Skydivers and met with Urban Moore. And I was like, hey, I want to make a skydive. I got this fax. It says I was off student status 5 years ago. And he's all, well, here's the rig. Do a hop and pop. If everything's good, you're good. I said, all right, let's go. So I started jumping out there. Was working at a cabinet shop, doing all the finish work on cabinets. And started working at the drop zone on the weekends. Eventually phased out the cabinet shop job and started working at the drop zone more. In 97, I moved to Skydive, Arizona, and haven't left. It's a little bit about where it all started.
The
Go ahead.
What year was that you got your license? What'd you say when you started jumping?
91 is when I got my license.
Okay, was the gear it very different from what you are jumping right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started off with static line progression, 3-second delay, 5-second delay, all that stuff, which kind of just doesn't happen, at least in these kind of, larger drop zones anymore. I know some, smaller drop zones are still doing that, but now, it's just pretty much AFF.
But rigs and canopies were basically what we're using right now, right? I mean, there wasn't
the canopies.
And the rigs, like when did 3 rings become a thing?
Way before I started jumping. I mean,
was that like early 80s?
I was going to say it would have had to have been early 80s because I think when my dad and them were jumping, they had the Cape Wells.
They did.
And that was 80 when I was watching them jump. They were jumping rounds. When I started jumping out.
Even into the 80s, they were jumping round canopies?
Yeah, they were doing static lines of rounds. My dad was and my stepmom, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, the rig on my back, it was not what it is now.
Yeah.
But when I started jumping, yeah, it was, regular, just old ram air canopies. I mean, my first rig that I got myself, $150. It was a Wonder Hog with a 26-foot LoPo and a Pegasus 220. And, I put my first 150 jumps on it.
Wait, you got the entire rig for $150?
Yeah.
So no AAD, obviously, right? Like, so
no.
A container and a harness, a main and a reserve for $150.
Yeah, you got to remember though, it's a 26-foot LoPo round reserve, and
What does that? I don't know what that means. 26-foot LoPo. What is that?
it was just the type of reserve it was, 26-foot diameter round reserve.
26 feet across. That sounds huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I had a 220 main. Uh,
Okay.
and I used it.
I mean,
I used it.
was the container pretty large?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was nothing small and streamlined at all. It was pretty sketchy at best.
Yeah. Did you ever have to use that reserve? Did you ever
Oh
have a
yeah.
cutaway with that?
Oh
You
yeah, yeah.
did.
Well, yeah. My
All right, tell us the story.
26 jumps. We're jumping into another airport in Oregon. 26 jumps. You should be doing demos into other airports. Why not?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, of course. Sure, sure. Why not? What's wrong with that?
And I'm in blue jeans, no shirt, and just having fun. It's a hop and pop, jump out. I have a line over on my Pegasus 220, chop it, get the reserve out, land, and I'm just hooting and hollering, hell yeah, I'm alive, everything worked. And then I realize I'm in 6 deep blackberry bushes. Now I'm like, holy shit, I got to get out of these things. And then it was like, okay, but I was still the adrenaline, it was the first time using the reserve.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Well, did you have an RSL?
No, none of that stuff. No, and I used that reserve several times.
Really?
Yeah, well, I had the next one I had was let's see, was a pilot shoot in tow.
Okay.
That
What do you know? What caused it? What?
Yeah, it was more than likely a pack and error. I mean, this was like at 50 something jumps, and I was using an old cruise light crew canopy, and it had a floating pin on the bridle, like a string bridle, retractable bridle, and somehow or another the pin locked. And so, I mean, okay, throw out, you got a pilot shoot in tow. You're going to do a little check. Okay. Not to freak out. So I got pretty long arms. I just reached back there and grabbed the bridle and the pin. And I'm just like, well, let me just try to pull it out myself.
Dude,
And, there's still plenty of altitude. So just be calm about it. And I'm like, well, this isn't working. So cut away, pull the reserve, another 26-foot round reserve ride. And so I land. Okay. I'm excited, but it's not like the first time, as you would expect.
Yeah.
You kind of already know what to expect now. But then I grabbed the rig and I grabbed the pilot chute and I threw the rig over my shoulder and I carried it back by the bridle with the rig just dangling behind me and it wouldn't pull. And it just somehow or another in the routing of the bridle, that string bridle with the floating pin on it just kind of bounded up. And so, that was another one.
So within 50 jumps, you had 2 cutaways or 2 reserve rides.
Yeah. Yeah, and then probably it was, maybe 40 or 50 jumps later, I had my next one. And I was getting my, go ahead.
What was that one? I want to hear that story.
Oh, that one was AAD fire. I was getting my rig repacked, and then I was using the drop zone gear, and I think I was at 90 jumps or something at this point, and I was always using the drop zone altimeter. I had a rig, but I didn't have an altimeter. The drop zone owner was like, "Hey, you can't use that altimeter. You need to get your own." And I was like, "All right, whatever." Jumping with some other people that have altimeters, and we're gonna do a horny gorilla. So, and then I'm like, "Hey, Urban, matter of fact, do me a favor, turn that FXC off, because this is when the old FXC AADs.
What is that?
Sometimes it's just they had the FXC and the Sentinel just before Cypress or anything. Another AAD, but sometimes they would misfire. I'm like, hey, Urban, turn that thing off. I don't need that thing. I'll be just fine. And so he turns it off. He goes, I'm just gonna turn that thing back on. It's what? It's you're out here jumping my gear. So he turns it back on, and 3 of us are gonna go out and we're doing a horny gorilla, having fun. One guy's got a chest mount on, which is kind of in the burble too, in the horny gorilla. I don't have an altimeter. My other buddy's got an altimeter. And, well, you know, you're leg locked in this horny gorilla. You got your arms out. My one buddy goes like to wave like this. Well, as soon as he went like this, he just slipped right out. So me and my buddy just lock legs. We're like, yeah. And then I'm like tapping my chest like, hey, what altitude are we at? He looks at it. He lets go of me. I roll over, go to grab that pilot chute. And I was like, ooh, well, that was an easy opening. And I look up. That damn round reserve again. And then the AAD had fired essentially. So had to use another one of those round reserves.
What altitude were you at?
Oh, I would imagine it was 1,300 feet when it went off.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So fortunately, he turned it off, but decided to turn it back on.
Man. So
Yeah,
that main canopy that you were jumping at that time, about how many feet did it take to open?
Oh, the reserve?
No, the main. Like if he had left the AAD off, and you had because you were about to pitch when the AAD.
Oh,
fired,
I
right?
probably would have snibbled right through the reserve deployment as well. Yeah, I would have had a dual out. You know, it would have been a cruise light and a 26-foot round. Yeah, you know, it would have been interesting. So it was a good thing he turned it back on.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, man, that's crazy.
You know, this is a long time ago too. Things were a little bit different. You know.
So, all right. Well, I want to hear some more. I want to hear some more about like the rest of your kind of skydiving career and what all you've been doing, what it's been like.
So, like I say, I moved here in '97. I moved here as December. Showed up, $300 to my name. Pitched a tent right behind the old airspeed building. Actually had 2 tents set up. One was my bedroom, one was my closet. Had a job here right away to work manifest. That's why I moved here. But I had a job and no money. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Put a couple of tents up. And this is in December in Arizona, so it's a little bit chilly. I was working at Manifest. Did that season working Manifest. Summertime rolled around. Got hooked up with a trailer right near the end of the summer. I had to suffer a little bit in the summertime in a tent as well. And then started packing parachutes. Started to do some tandem videos at Fun Air. After starting to do some video work, started doing some load organizing. Went to Lost Prairie the first year, and I was in '98, and showed up there, and I had a old high 8 camera. My buddy Eric Jackson, who used to be a packer for Airspeed back in the day, he's like, "Hey man, come to Montana with me. If you can pack for a buddy of mine's going to pay for all of my stuff." So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go, you know. And it's a whole new world right now in the skydiving. So show up there, 24-hour drive, Arizona to Montana. Well, because I have this camera, this old beat-up high 8 camera on a ProTech helmet with this metal mounts and all this, pretty sketchy. The guy's like, hey, you got a camera? I'm going to pay for all of your jumps too, and your lodging and everything. So I was like, sweet. So once that happened, I was like, I'm going to start flying more camera. This is how it is right here. I don't have to pay for my skydives. And, you know, things are getting paid for. This is great. So got back from there, and I remember asking my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, I need $1,000. I need a video camera. I need a digital video camera. He started laughing. He's like, you don't need a camera, you need a job. That's just a toy. And I was like, yeah, whatever, Dad. That's all right. I'll figure it out, you know. And my uncle ended up helping me out with getting one. And so then I just shot camera for years. Cruise around, did the boogie circuit, load organizing. That's when Voodoo just kind of started. I was organizing on there the Voodoo Rendezvous tour and doing a bunch of video work. First free fly team was, I want to say it was 2000. shooting camera, and that was me, Rook Nelson, and TJ Langren, the poor white boys, shooting camera for them. And, we're pretty naive. We show up at nationals. We have no idea, it's like 5 different free routines. It wasn't just go do the same free routine each time. We did 5 different free routines. And so it was super fun being on the team with those guys. From there, I did a 4-way team and belly team with the U.S. women's team, shooting video with them. From that, I videoed Kiwi sky surfing for several years. From video and sky surfing, I videoed freestyle for several years. And then it kind of was like, okay, camera coming off, former hat going on. And then it was the beginning of VFS. I got on Arsenal 2 weeks before nationals. Didn't know the dive pool, didn't know anything. They're like, hey, we need you on the team. So got on the team. We ended up winning. I was like, yes. Did Arsenal for a really long time. Left Arsenal. Life happens. Ended up on Standard. Our competitors, and did Standard for a few years. Kind of started beating the old team, which felt good but felt bad at the same time. But I was in it to win it, so there to win. Sorry. And then now I've been doing MFS. Current team right now is me and Andy Malchiotti and Taylor Buffington, Flight Shop. We used to have a camera flyer before Friday. Michael Friedman shot camera for us for years. And that's just a blast. The discipline is super technical, and it's just not the same. The fall rate changing, you're flying head up, head down, belly back, all in the same jump. So it's pretty challenging. Right now we're undefeated since 2015, so hopefully we can keep that going. And then, like I say, with the camera work, shot a lot of records. The 300-way belly formation, the 357-way, the 400. From the very first free fly record, I can say probably I've shot 95% or 90% of every vertical record. Been kind of busy doing a bunch of different things. Military contracting. Ran the tunnel in Eloy for 20 years. People ask me how much tunnel time. Who knows?
Who knows?
Well,
enough that we should be better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm watching people flying. I'm like, man, I need to get some coaching from you. You just passed me up. It hasn't been that long.
So you mentioned back the VFS. Were you that first year that you did VFS? Was that the first year that VFS was a discipline at nationals? Was that the first year of competition?
That was the first test event at nationals.
I think that was 2005 or 2006.
What'd you say was the first what?
It was the first test event. Like
the
first, because it usually gets hosted at like nationals as a test event to see how it goes, and then it's an official discipline in the event.
I see. Okay, so that was the first time it was at nationals.
Showcase. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think in 2005. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yep.
Is it working? Yeah. In 2005, Rook Nelson and his sister Melissa were on a belly team, and I don't remember who else was on the team, but good flyers. And the last round, they just decided they were going to do it all head down in the belly competition, and they got 0 for the round, even though they built the formations. Just they built them vertically, and that was kind of the I think a little bit of the beginning push for VFS. Like, hey, why don't we have a formation discipline that's vertical? And so I think Eric Darren and Melissa, Mike Swanson, Rook, I think mostly Eric Darren, but a bunch of people collaborated on getting the dive pool going. And I think 2006 was the first the test event, and then 2007 would have been the first full year of VFS. Does that sound right, Jay?
You're saying
Yeah.
test
Yeah.
event. I thought you were saying
Yeah.
testament.
No, test event.
Test event. Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
makes more
So if
sense.
you propose, like MFS is kind of the brainchild of Andy, who's been on the podcast in the past, and
Mhm.
there was a test event, and then there was a lot of participation, and they said, okay, cool, we're going to have this as an event. So as long as we're on MFS, Jay, what's your feeling about like the trials of or the difficulties of getting it on the world stage? Like where is that effort at these days?
I mean, the biggest thing is trying to get the other countries. We're constantly reaching out, just to get more participation going from like through FAI, countries. This last year at the World Meet, we did a kind of a test event, for the MFS World Meet. And we're hoping to push that every 2 years, where it's just kind of always there as an open discipline for whoever wants to participate in it, and hopefully that just sparks more interest, and making it more attainable. I think the hard thing is with some other countries that they're with the higher level athletes, maybe they're getting funding, but it's not a discipline that is approved by their federation, so now they're not getting the funding for that discipline, which makes it even more challenging to want to participate in the discipline. If now you're not getting that funding, now it's being self-funded, which I think is some of the holdup. And I know there's some talk where people have said, oh, it's just a introductory discipline, like a beginner discipline for VFS, and so they're not into it, which is just the opposite because it's way more technical. And then some countries have said, it's a little bit too dangerous with the fall rate changing, which I think there has been some holdback on that, and that's just talk that you hear, and whether that's powers that be that are making that decision, who knows? But neither one of those are concerns that should even be there, realistically. I mean, you're going to start your training, and ideally, when I'm coaching people, like it's a little bit more challenging in the tunnel to really train MFS. One, just because of the elevator ride up when you're going from vertical to flat with the walls around. So, like for me, training people, it's just like, hey, we're not even going to worry about formations right now. Let's just work on timing. Can we go from being head up to our bellies and stay on level with each other and match each other's fall rate on the way up? In our tunnel, it diffuses at the top, it gets slower. So you've got to, get vertical. You're going down a lot faster. You got to flare out, and it's just kind of a reset, but it's more, my approach is just more to get people synced up for timing for those kind of things, because that's the biggest challenge with it. Is vertical to flat or vice versa, flat to vertical.
Cool. And what? Yeah, I mean, when Andy was on the show, we talked a little bit about MFS and sort of the difficulties of getting it onto the world stage, and it was kind of a chicken and egg thing of a certain number of NACs have to adopt it, but they don't want to adopt it until the other NACs have adopted it, and so it's kind of a catch-22 to get it going. And if I remember talking to him, and you can correct me, it was like it has to be 5 total, and a NAC is just like a national organization, NACs that adopt it, and that's if it's the big ones: France, Russia, Australia, UK, United States, or 7 if it's smaller, some kind of arbitrary number that they picked, something like that.
I thought it could be 4 countries because then at least you have a loser.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure off the top of my head, and it's a shame that they're not incorporating it because it's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit more attainable to go training for that discipline. It's easy to get one other person on the drop zone. Let's say I'm always going to fly my slot, and then Chris, you happen to be there on Saturday, and I'm going to have you fly Andy's slot, but you're not there Sunday, but JRuss is there Sunday, and it's like, well, JRuss, you fly Andy's slot, and I'll keep flying my slot, and people can feed off of each other, which is a little bit easier because you don't even need camera really. I mean, in the beginning, if you're working on, if you're doing kind of skills jumps and not necessarily worried about the points and, formation things. And it's just a lot more challenging getting 5 people together to commit, to do VFS.
Yeah, that's pretty common story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think of the recent, like you've had some decent competition in the last couple of years for Flight Shop? Let's hear about that. How's that feeling for you guys?
Well, it's great to have competition. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not just show up and, spank everybody and go, yeah, we won again. That's not as much fun. I mean, we had the comp in Paraclete, we won by 1 point. And I was like, okay, this is a competition, and butterflies are rolling. And it's like, hey, don't be looking at me in the plane for fist bumps, buddy. I'm here to win. We can be buddies when it's over,
Yeah.
But, I mean, Tom Baker and Mike Brewer put a team together for the World Meet, and they did really well. There's just, it's easy to kind of get some talented flyers together and make a pretty good start with a good average. But to start stepping that average up by a couple of points takes a while, which I mean, I'm humble. Like, I'm just going out, my competition is me and Andy. We're always competing to be the best that we can be. We're always competing against our own average. And, I'm looking forward to more people coming out that are just, out of the woodworks, like, oh, where'd you come from? Because it's, I like that fire. I like to know, okay, there's somebody that's nipping at my heels right now, versus just like, well, these guys aren't going to beat us.
Let's see, the girls are taking a break. Is that right?
Yeah. And they were doing great. I mean, they were closing the gap. I mean, like I say, they were closing the gap, but they still would have had a little bit more to be closing the rest of the gap.
Yeah. So that was Michelle Hart, and what's Irina's last name? I don't even know.
Don't get me lying.
Sorry. Irina, and then they had a couple different camera flyers, but just I think they were called Seeing Double was their team name.
Yeah.
And just doing really well. Yeah.
And they put the work in. I mean, they were training all the time, obviously, because they wanted to beat us. And I was constantly coaching them all the time. And like I say, but they put the work in. I mean, rigs, everything. And I'm like, God, girls, why don't you just go do some training without those rigs,
So what's y'all's average score? What's a normal round for y'all?
Well, it's really kind of draw dependent. Before, our highest average was a 17.6, and this year we just jumped the game up to go from 4 to 5 points to 5 to 6 points around, and now there is new blocks and randoms. So we just did the cloud games, our first meet with the new dive pool, and we ended up with just under a 16 average, which I feel good with for just, very, very little training together with the whole new, the new dive pool and the new expansion of, 5 to 6 points, which doesn't seem like much, but when you 6 randoms pop out and you're like, okay. And especially when it is flat to vertical, and you're like, oh, where are we?
Yeah. Is the time, is it the same in VFS and RW? Is it all the same amount of time that you have to score points? Does everybody do the same?
Yeah, it's all 35 seconds working time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just, our discipline, MFS, just matched up now with FS and VFS as far as number of rounds, number of points per draw, and the number of blocks and randoms. They are all equal now. We had to get rid of some to add some to make it all balance out.
Everybody has the same number of blocks and randoms now?
Yeah, the judges really like that. The judges like to do one draw that's then applied across multiple disciplines. So for a few years now, VFS and FS have been the same number of points, the same blocks and randoms, same points per round. So they just draw once, and then we use their draw as well. And now MFS is included in that.
Okay.
So that
it's all
they
the same
really like that.
lettering. I mean, it's the same lettering, but obviously the formations are different. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
Yeah, but for those people out there who maybe don't do a lot of formation skydiving, generally there's people kind of in the background. Like for VFS, it's usually me and Steph, and for MFS, it's Jason and Andy. And in the FS community, I think a number of people are contributing to just keeping the dive pool. It changes. It evolves, not all the time, but there are generally changes, and FS is a little more mature as a discipline, and they've got blocks and randoms that they cycle in and out. So this one will come out for a few years, and this one will come back in, and so it's just a way to keep I think it's a way to keep the dive pool from getting stagnant. Like, okay, we've done all these for 3 years now. Let's have a different couple possible combinations, because that's the real challenge, in my opinion, is when they change the dive pool, you've got all these combinations that you're not as accustomed to. So, like, no surprise to me that Jason and Andy's average came down, and to be honest, 17.5 to 16.5 is not much of a drop for a new dive pool. So that's a pretty good season.
Is there, so is there 16 different formation? I mean, what do you call it? You call them formations? What do you call them?
We have 22 blocks.
Blocks.
And I think 17 randoms. I should probably know that off the top of my head, but I definitely know we have 22 blocks because they're numbered, and the randoms go through Q,
R, right?
but we don't have I.
Yeah, and some of it now
quickly, we've gone over this, but go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just going to say that some of it too with the changes, like JRuss was saying, FS is super mature. It's been around for so long. MFS, as we've been doing it now for 10 years, there has been some formations that needed to get taken out just because it's hard to judge. And you're kind of constantly losing the point, even though you're making the point, because it's the uniqueness of the formation, the camera flyer. It's just too challenging to be from here to here that fast when we're moving the points that fast. So that's a lot of sometimes too how it evolves is like, okay, everybody's getting a bust on this same point. Let's try to help it grow, to help the points grow, but make it easier for the judging too. That way it can be more streamlined when they are judging the jumps.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we've gone over this before, but just to explain it again for some of our listeners, what is the difference in a block and a random?
So a random is a 1-point formation, and you could just say if we were going to do a head down round, and two-way hold hands, if we let go, do a 360 and re-grip the two-way round again, that would be a block. So you would have one top of the formation of the block would be a random. You would do an inner, do a move to the bottom of the block to make the second point. So sometimes you can get it drawn where it's 3 blocks. So those 3 formations, or you could get 6 randoms drawn. Or it could be, two blocks and 1 random, whether it being 5 or 6 points, whatever comes up first.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Kind of. So wait, the random is, go ahead.
A random is a single thing. Jay said a head down round, okay. And that's it. So there, I think there is a head down round in the MFS dive pool, or for 4-way VFS. Say, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's not, but let me do a quick draw for you just to make it simple. So we're going to do a belly star. So we're going to build a 2-way on our belly. We're going to let go. That's the random. So now we're going to do a belly compressed, where we're going to pick up belly fly, compressed grips on each other. We're going to let go. We're going to both do 360s and reclose that belly compressed. That would be the block, because the belly star would be the one formation. The belly compress, grip, belly 360, that would be your block. So you'd be getting 2 points for that.
Got it.
So,
Gotcha.
so in real general terms, Chris, a block is like a starting picture. The picture breaks, moves are made, and a rebuild at the bottom to a new picture, or maybe the original picture as well, for a total of 2 points per block. A random is just we build this one thing and we move on.
Got it. Okay. And sometimes does a block include for four-way where two people stay linked during the movement? Sometimes you have to do that, right? You have to maintain.
Yeah.
Except for MFS, except for MFS, because we are a two-way, so we don't have a piece partner. So four-way FS, four-way VFS for sure. You're going to have piece partners that you're turning your pieces with.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And there's specific rules about like who can touch whom in the inter. And interestingly, it's a 2-point move for a block, but there's 3 places you can bust it. You can bust the top build, you can bust the inter, or you can bust the bottom build. And if any of those are busted, you lose it.
Middle of it. Because we lost the Nationals one year. Arsenal did for an assisted grip in a subgroup. While we were doing block 9, and me and Curtis were piece partners, and they said it looked like he grabbed a hold of me, and I'm like, he didn't grab a hold of me. There's no reason for him to grab a hold of me. And it says, well, in the video it looks like it. So we lost the point, and we lost the competition.
I remember that one. We weren't quite ready to slug it out with the big boys yet, but we were looking at you. Yeah, so within the subgroup, you cannot contact the other flyer except with the prescribed grip. That's an assisting grip, as if you're helping them fly. Yeah, your piece partner within a subgroup. You can touch the other group. That's okay, but not in your subgroup. Getting in the weeds a little bit of formation skydiving. So Jay, I actually didn't know. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I didn't realize you videoed the 400 way in Thailand.
Oh yeah. I did the 300 way here. I did the 357 in Thailand, and then the 400 in Thailand. Yeah, super cool.
So give us an idea of like aircraft logistics. What was it like doing that in Thailand?
Super cool. The 400 way, we had 5 C-130s in formation. There was 13 camera flyers out there. And these C-130s are not used to flying in formation this close. So they are really keeping the ground speed up. Some people were getting their shoulders dislocated. You're basically launching a chunk of 80 people. Everybody's just holding on to each other, and you're getting spit out of the plane. And then for the camera flyer slot, if I'm poising off the tailgate of the plane, and I'm looking at the planes in a kind of V formation like this. So I would say this would be 12 o'clock on the line of flight if I looked at it like a clock. And so everybody's got a sector around the clock. So that just helps with building, approaching, knowing what kind of, call it a radial, where you're coming in at on what part of the clock. And then for us as the camera flyers, with that large of a formation, we were really only allowed to video our sector of the formation. So you weren't allowed to get a whole overview of the whole formation unless your piece of the pie was built. So like my sector was 6 o'clock on the line of flight. So I had that 6 o'clock sector. And so I just basically had to video the sector, and as it was building and my sector was good, now I can go up and get a shot of the whole formation. Because really you need that to be able to debrief, a tight video debrief, to really hone in some details of what can be corrected to build the formation. Obviously 400 people, if everybody's all really high and looking at the big picture, it's just it's a bunch of specs. If you're really trying to figure out, was the guy low? Did he burble him? What's going on? So pretty interesting there. Break off, we're staging the break offs, different altitudes. And then at the 400 way was pretty nice because we had a airport we were using, and it was a mile long, a couple of mile long runway airport, so a big wide open landing area. Did a mass parachute drop there, 970 people, I think, into the opening of the new Bangkok airport. And I couldn't even remember how many planes were in formation, but it was like D-Day. And it's just, you've got all the participants of the 400 way, which are obviously all invited. So they've got some talent. But now the rest of those people is whoever they can get, the Royal Thai Air Force. I mean, so it's a bunch of nylon pylons. When we did the 357 way, we did a 670 person mass parachute drop over downtown Bangkok to land in the King's Palace. And the conditions were sketchy at best. But it was for the King's birthday, and they shouldn't have done it, but they sent it. We're there. Same deal. It's all the 357. You got another 25 people, 400 people, that were for the formation. And there were people landing in rivers, impaled on fences, landing on roofs. I mean, it was all over the place. Having the bigger airport, that wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
But super cool to be a part of those formations. It's unique to be, 5 C-130s in formation. You don't get that. Those big of chunks coming out of a plane at one time. It's just, you don't see those kind of things happen.
So for our listeners out there who might not be familiar with the aircraft, C-130 is a pretty big one. I think there's two models, and the smaller one I think holds just around 80 people, and then the bigger one I think is up around 100 or 110. But that 400 way that Jason was a part of that record has stood for a while, mostly because the cost is crazy. So the Thai Air Force and it was the King's birthday that they were celebrating. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it was for every time that it happened there. Yeah, it was for the King's birthday. Yeah. So they had all the support from the Royal Thai Air Force, and it was pretty much cost-free for aircraft and everything. And yeah, like JRuss said, they were like, oh, we're going to do a 500 way. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to get the aircraft support and location to put that many people out over a good place to land.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of discussion going on right now because the 500 way might be a thing, but it's going to require a fairly wealthy country. So there's a short list of names that are in consideration for a host of that. Saudi Arabia.
I was going to say Dubai will be doing it.
Abu Dhabi. Yeah. Dubai's not going to do it. Kuwait, maybe. Some of the Middle Eastern countries that are jazzed about skydiving and have a lot of disposable income because it's going to be costly. I don't know, Chris, did we ever talk about the Dubai project and why it didn't happen?
A little bit, yeah. I don't know if we went into all of it, but we did discuss it a tiny bit, yeah.
Well, in short, I was part of the crew that was trying to make it happen at that time, and the Dubai Air Force also said, oh, you can use our C-130s, and so it'll go great. And they had, I don't know how many, 6 or 8. And then they kind of realized what that commitment meant, and they just said, oh, no, never mind, we can't do it. But it was after they had said it, and so the planning started, and people were making aircraft, travel tickets and blah, blah, blah. And so to try and patch that situation up, they asked me to find the aircraft to do it. And I found a company in Italy that said they could do it. It's multiple crews because you spend so much time above a certain altitude and you got to switch crews. Cool $10 million they wanted Dubai to pay for a single event. And there's no registration that's going to cover that. So it went down the tubes right there. And my job shifted from trying to make it happen to trying to not have 500 people pissed off at Skydive Dubai, which actually went okay. But some of those countries over there, they do have the money to support that, so it might happen. Jason will probably be one of the photographers if it does.
Yeah.
So Jay, like we usually go about an hour. It's been 46 minutes. And I think that while I was gone, you guys talked about kind of Arsenal to be in the, one of the early teams in VFS. And you were there you were on Arsenal for a while, 8 years, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Standard for a couple of years. And did you talk about your tunnel instructing time? No.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's hit that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know you probably said you were a tunnel instructor, but that doesn't quite do justice to the commitment of 20 years of working in the tunnel and the thousands and thousands and thousands of students that went through your hands. I don't know. I don't even know. It's such a, like, you've coached so many people. I don't even really know where to start. Like, what give us your thoughts on coaching and what that's like, and looking out, and I have a much smaller personal thing, but I have to imagine it's the same for you, where just so many people have been influenced by your instruction and then gone on to have careers in skydiving. And what does that feel like for you?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I love teaching. It's getting the job at the tunnel, loved it. Excelled pretty good. And really, the important thing to me when I was in there, even from the beginning, was just not wanting to watch people waste their money. And it was just like me growing up. I grew up as a poor kid. I was like, man, there's no way I could afford to just rock up here and spend this kind of money. I'm like, but I'm not going to just sit here and watch this guy be bad, And so I did. Did and still do. I'm always constantly just coaching people, whether they're hiring me or I'm just there in the door, because for me it's important, the growth. I want to see people progress. I want to see them. It's one thing, hey, go in there to have some fun, but if you're going there and I can tell you're going to learn something, it's very rewarding to me helping somebody get on that path. And I've been told many times that I'll sit up in the middle of the night in my bed and I'm like, hey, put your chin back, because I'm coaching in my sleep. And, it's
awesome.
It's very rewarding to me. And I'm a little bit of a pusher when it comes to coaching too. I'm like, okay, you got it. Let's keep moving. Let's not, okay, let's keep doing that now for 15 minutes. It's like, no, you're doing it. Let's progress. And yeah, that's it. It just makes me happy inside seeing that, and there is sometimes I've gotten frustrated with students too, as much as I love it. It's getting reception from the student too. I've had some students where it's like, hello, or knock, are you there? Come on, tune in with me. And I think it's so important for everybody to go to the tunnel and get coaching. And as hard as it is sometimes to, tune in, try to do your best to always tune in, because you're paying somebody to do the thinking for you. Let them do the thinking for you, instead of getting a little bit of paralysis from analysis. Why is he telling me to put my back leg down? Put it down, you'll find out.
Is there any advice that you could give to like myself or other people, young coaches, or people who are doing coaching and just want to be better at coaching? Is there anything that comes to mind that you think is important for us to hear?
I think the big thing is just not try to rush it. Don't skip the foundation. Like back flying is a key foundation that a lot of people just want to skip right through, because they're ready to get on their feet, or they're ready to get on their head. And then it's like, oh, now you're on your back and it's 95% in there, and now you're not safe. And it might feel like you're not progressing fast because you're not sit flying with your friends yet, but, take your time with everything. Don't be in a rush. I always tell people it's a roller coaster ride in there. There's, hey man, we're taking off. We're learning. Oh man, I didn't learn anything. I think I just went backwards. Oh, now it's a plateau. Oh, boom, now we're going up again. And just to, know that those waves are going to happen, and don't let them deter you from getting the coaching. And, it's really important too, if you're not connecting with your coach, and you're not connecting, coaching, connecting with their student, pass them off. It's just because somebody is hiring a coach, that coach doesn't own you. You're not married to them, so don't feel like you're gonna let them down if you go talk to somebody else, because somebody else is going to tell you the same thing, maybe just a little bit different. But the end result connects with you, and then now you're progressing. Or, if I'm not connecting with the student, I'm real quick to be like, hey, can you take them? And, it's important for people, both coaches and students, to realize that mindset, because I've heard it before with people, oh, you've taken my student. And I'm like, man, I didn't take your student. You don't own that student. You weren't here that day. I ended up coaching them. We made a connection, and now they're just asking me. Don't take it personally, because nobody wins that way, and it's important for everybody to be humble enough to really know that, student and coach.
What advice would you give to students that feel like they've hit a plateau?
Switch it up. Like, let's say you're not ready to be sit flying yet, right? But you've been focusing on back flying, but you really haven't focused on transitions, belly back transitions. You've just been focused on the back only, and it's driving you crazy. Maybe it's like, hey, maybe it's we do some transition, or now it's time to do some just walking around and just standing and sitting and just mix it up. Maybe you're not going to have the wind speed to really be in the sit, but a lot of times when you're so focused on something and you're not getting it, you start beating your head against the wall. You go do something else, and then you come back and do that other thing you're beating your head against the wall with, and you're like, wow, this is easy. Because you kind of just forgot about it for a little bit.
That's helpful.
Yeah, Chris, I totally agree with that. And I would only add on that, like, I feel like when Steph and I coach, we're in the same kind of vein as Jason. Like, if you've got something and it looking good, we're not doing it for the next hour. We're gonna move on and try and expose you to as many things as possible in the amount of time you give us. And you can always fly in the tunnel without a coach and not spend money on the coach and practice all those things, but got to open your eyes to those other things. But I'm stuck on something, we'll almost always push them, suggest that they do something that we think they're going to perceive as harder than what they were doing. You're sit flying. All right. Well, you're not getting that part. Let's just put you on your head. Just go on the net for a second. That's something you perceive as harder. And then when we step back to that thing, you've relaxed. It's easier. Okay, cool. I'm going back to the easy thing. And a lot of times that's a effective way to get people past hurdles, I think.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah. And Jay, you're not working in Eli. Are you still coaching in Eli? You're just not working at the tunnel?
Yeah, I'm just not working there. Just doing contracting. Like I say, headed to Roatan on Saturday for a scuba diving trip for a week.
That's right. Yeah.
Flying underwater, and but yeah, I mean, I'm always here available to coach, and always able. 2 minutes away. But
the last time I talked to you about scuba was years ago, and you were working towards basically teaching scuba as well. Is that where you're at?
Yeah. I got my instructor rating now for 8 years. So I get people the e-learning code, bring them over to my house. I got 12 tanks and BCs and reg sets, and let's hop in the pool and go through all the confined water skills, and then either take them out to Mexico for a checkout dives or take them to the lake. Or this trip's going to be just a family, though, no students. There's always students in my eyes because I'm always watching everybody. And I'm always wanting to help, like I just can't help it. I just love, helping people. But they're all certified, which would be nice. So it's not like, okay, we got to be concerned. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And you're sorry, are you leading the dives? You're taking everybody on the trip?
I'm organizing the trip, but I'm hiring a couple of guides there. That's their backyard. They're going to know where the fish are. Okay. And, but I've got 2 guides. I'm like, hey, we've got two different groups in this one group. We've got some beginners, and then we've got some advanced people. We can all go underwater at the same time. 2 guides. These guys are going that way. We're going that way. And, meet back up. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
we're almost at an hour, Jason. And I know you may have somewhere to be, but kind of a similar vein to the coaching, you've you've done quite a bit of organizing over the years. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I say, back in the
Yeah.
day, that's all I did was load organize and traveling around, and
So
yeah, just
do
what
you mind speaking to that real quick? What do you think makes a good load organizer? Like, what is their responsibility? What is their objective? What's their role? What should a good load organizer be thinking about and be doing?
the number one thing, aware of your skill level in your group, and be aware of your group size. It's real easy. Hey man, can I hop on? Oh, okay, man, can I hop on? And uh, unfortunately, in the beginning, it's, yeah, let me get all these people on this jump, and it's a big zoo, and skydiving's gotten expensive. I mean, and so if you can go out, maybe it's not team training, but it's still objective skydiving that's kind of attainable versus let's get a bunch of people together and we're not really attaining much. We're just falling through the sky, or you know, uh, just for people to load organizers to be aware of that stuff, because even some drop zones, approach, hey, will you come out and load organize? Sure. What do you expect? What's your group ratios? Oh, we need a 6-to-1. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be committed to, you know what I mean, being married to a certain number of people. One, because really a smaller group is going to be way more beneficial to the people you're organizing, more than likely, unless there's a location where it's a bunch of highly skilled flyers together. People will get more out of it. Maybe at the end of the day, it's easier to start combining some of those smaller groups to a little bit bigger group, because now everybody's skill level versus just, well, yeah, come on, hop on, no problem.
Yeah.
I got 12 people. I'm a good load organizer. Bring me back,
I got all these butts and seats.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I see that a thing, and I see a lot of times. Sometimes people they just want to go jump with the good people and not focus on the lower experienced people. And I know my girlfriend would say that. She would come home, she's like, man, the freaking load organizer today wouldn't even jump with me. He just wanted to go jump with all the other cool kids, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. But it's important to be aware of everybody, because we all started there, so it's easy to almost lose sight of that, because you do want to go do the fun jumps, the cool jumps, and but it's important to think about the younger jumpers and really bring them up, and those should be small groups, stuff that's really attainable, not just you're going to cover, I'm just jumping and whatever, you're not getting anything out of it. Load organizing should be kind of coaching. It's easier to coach a couple of people together versus 8 people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good, man. Thank you. That's helpful for me to hear. I hope for others too. It's good.
So Jay, before we go, what are you looking forward to in skydiving, say for the next 5 years? What are the big highlights coming up for you?
Well, we've got the record coming up. I'm looking forward to that. Nationals is coming up. Team training. I'm always looking forward to team training. And then, contract work. I'm looking forward to all of it, because I like the diversity of it. It's not that I'm doing one thing, so it's hard to have one little thing that is the most important, or the biggest, because it's all encompassing for me, just being like a little bit diversified and not all the eggs in one basket. Looking forward to the contracts working with you, JRuss.
Yeah. You got a prediction for the head down record? We going to get it? And if we are, how many jumps?
We'll get it. I'm going to say within 15 jumps. I think 15.
I'm going to say we'll get it after 8.
8? All right. Well, hey, I mean, the way the California stuff
I can name that tune.
Yeah.
The way the California stuff went, it was awesome. I mean, quick.
They could have got it on jump 1. They were just so close on jump 1.
Yeah, but that's, half the amount of people, too.
And I went 8 times the number of jumps.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure. I think it's going to have, it's a different approach to it this year, which I think a different approach to it's going to be good. I like the whole idea of a little bit less stress on the people that are being involved, because it's like, okay, can I just go and fly my slot without having to touch anybody? And I'm not going to get cut, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the picture I'm going to see. There's no pressure. I know what I know. I know how to do it. Just want to get here and check it out a few times. Oh, now let's pick up grips. Boom, 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 boom. There you go.
Yeah. So for those people who might not be familiar with what Jay's talking about, there's been a little bit of an evolution in the discipline of how to construct these jumps, and came mostly, I think, from the belly community. Matt Fry was big on picking up stuff from them. Amy Shimalecki and Sarah Curtis also kind of leaned on Dan BC from Paris Valley for an evolution of technique. And so the first few jumps of the 200 way will mimic the head up record, sequential records, where there's a certain number of people who are going to be required to dock, which is probably just the inner 40 people. And then the other 160 people are just going to have a couple of jumps to gather information, to be close and in their slot, but they won't be obligated to dock on anybody. And then the build will increasingly add layers of docking. So from the inside out, where it might be 5 or 6 jumps before we even try to have 200 people dock. And I don't know the exact number. I'm not sure that that's been decided yet, but there will definitely be a period of gathering information, not necessarily docking.
At least by the 8th jump, though, right?
Wow. I mean, that's a bold prediction, not knowing the logistic plan, but I'm going to stick with it.
Get on right now. Jump 8, guys.
So, yeah, there you go. If Matt and Rook hear this, maybe they'll just say "fuck you, JRuss," and we're going for 9. Well, cool.
Hey, before we wrap up, I just want to give a couple things real quick. Number one, I've been talking about the Crave, the AI chat bots that we've been working on, and those are coming along really, really well. I'm really excited about those. And JRuss, I want to share a couple of links with you sometime this week for you guys to kind of be looking through and playing with them. I may have shared some with you already, but I just want people to know that that's still in the works. We're still doing that. I'm really excited about it. And specifically the guy who has helped put those together, Brian Piper, he's a skydiver from New York, really, really just a genuinely good guy, kind, nice, helpful guy. And I just want to say, I was actually talking with him today, and just, if you have anything like that, he doesn't just work in the skydiving industry, although he does. He's really, really good with all this AI stuff and even just marketing strategies, stuff like that. So if you're listening and you are involved, you have your own business or involved in work that you need something like that, help with AI automations, workflows, bots, AI, that kind of stuff, let me know and I will connect you with Brian, because he's very, very knowledgeable and very good at that stuff. And I really want to try to help push people his way if that's something you need. He's helped me a lot, and I think going to continue to help Crave in a lot of great ways. The second thing I want to mention is I've been talking for a little while about a coach's directory that we're trying to create on the Crave website. And that is now live. There's only a few, like 3 coaches listed on there. But if you are a coach in the skydiving world and you can go onto the Crave website, click on directory, and then click on create a profile. You can create a profile for yourself and have yourself listed as a coach. There's some information that we'll collect from you, and then hopefully over time that directory will get bigger and bigger, and that way skydivers, people can go there and find coaches in their area. Or if you're going on a trip somewhere and you need somebody to coach you in the tunnel or in the sky, and like you want to work on a specific discipline, you could say, oh, I want to connect with Jason Peters. He can coach me in this. And you find him on there. You can reach out to him and connect with him through the website, through the Crave directory. And I just want that to be a free service, something that we offer to the skydiving community to help coaches connect with students, help students connect with coaches, so we can all, do more and be better, right?
Nice segue.
I wanted to mention both those things.
Hey, Brian, I just wanted to tell you, sadly, Chris is no longer going to be at Summerfest, which makes me sad. Yeah, but Brian's coming to Summerfest. He messaged me, I don't know, a week ago, and wanted to know about some angle jump possibilities at Summerfest. And he sounded like he was looking forward to it, which starts on Saturday.
2 days, dude.
2 days, man.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh,
The
game on.
madness begins. Yeah, it's going to be great. All right. Well, you have done it again. You have had a very entertaining and instructional hour on the Crave Show with JRuss and Chris and our special guest, Jason Peters. Jay, thanks very much for joining us and sharing some of the, I don't know, 30 years of jumping wisdom.
Thanks
Something
for
like
having
that.
me on. Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, get out there in the sky, jump with your friends, have a good time. Enjoy the time in the sky where you are entirely focused on that moment.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
have a good time, be safe. And, if you get a chance, check out the Crave website. It will help you do more and be better.
There you go.
And thanks for joining
Jason,
us,
for
guys.
joining us, man. That was fun.
Yeah, cool.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.